So, I'm going to talk to you about the plays that Whitehorse Theatre are bringing to France in the year 2019. First of all, a play called The Green Knight. Now, this is a dramatisation of a famous medieval English poem. It's set in the court of the legendary King Arthur. King Arthur and his knights are celebrating New Year, and suddenly there's a big knock at the door and a stranger comes in, and it's a huge knight, all green, carrying a huge axe, and he challenges Arthur's knights to a duel that he will let any of the knights hit him with the axe, and a year later that knight will meet him and will hit him with the axe. No one wants to go in for this. It's obvious that there's something strange about this, but eventually one of the bravest of all the knights, Sir Gawain, accepts the challenge, and he takes the axe and he chops off the head of the Green Knight, but it doesn't kill him. The Green Knight gets up, walks across, picks up his head and carries on talking. And so poor old Sir Gawain has got a year to find the Green Knight again and to challenge him to a fight, knowing that he seems to be unkillable. I'm not going to tell you what happens because it's quite an exciting story. It's when I was studying English literature at university, this story was one of my inspirations. It's a wonderful story of King Arthur and his knights and adventure and magic, and the whole concept of honour, which is central to being a knight in King Arthur's Round Table. Let's move on to the pupils aged between 14 and 16. For them we've got a modern adaptation of a Shakespeare play. The play is called All's Well That Ends Well. Some people call it a comedy, some people call it a problem play. It's a play that examines the nature of marriage, but shows marriage in not a very positive light. It was apparently written at the time when Shakespeare was going through marriage problems. His wife, Anne Hathaway, was back in Stratford, and Shakespeare was making his own life and having adventures in London. And Shakespeare was obviously giving a lot of thought to what a relationship is, what makes a good relationship, and in the case of this, what can make a bad relationship. And I've adapted this play so that it's done in modern language. Most of our Shakespeare performances are done in the original Shakespearean language and are performed to the most senior, the most advanced pupils. But this, I thought, was a fascinating story, and so I wanted to present it in such a way that younger pupils, the 14 to 16-year-olds, can understand it. And so I've updated the language. I've kept the story exactly as it was before, but I've updated the language in the hope that a new audience of young people will be able to understand it. We then move on to what other plays have I got? Yes, Relatively Speaking. That's a play that we're doing for the most senior pupils. It's a play by the famous British playwright Alan Ayckbourn, Sir Alan Ayckbourn. And Ayckbourn is probably the best known and most successful writer of comedy plays in the last 50 years. He's still alive, he's still writing, and this particular play is a play about misunderstandings within a relationship. It's a play about marriage and relationships, a play that asks each of us the question, can I trust the person that I am in love with? And to judge by this, the answer is possibly no, you can't. It's a play full of unexpected twists and turns, a play that usually has the audience rolling around on the floor because it's so funny. Everything that can go wrong in this relationship goes wrong, and it's a classic British comedy.